Welcome to Boise Song Talk. I'm James Coberly Smith. Give me just a second, set this guitar down if you would, please. Thank you. Songs. What we're going to be doing on Boise Song Talk is we're going to be speaking with a number of the great local songwriters about how they write their songs. Now, they're all great live performers, and I encourage you to go out and see their live shows. However, we will not be emphasizing performance on this show. Instead, we'll be speaking with them about how they write their songs. Now, I'm going to start this thing off with a half of a song of my own. Then we're going to go over and meet tonight's special guest. No need to worry, it's been arranged. No sign of a risk, no chances to take. Fact, there's nothing here to win or to lose. We've come as far as we can go. No way around it. We've come to that grand plateau where there's nothing to win or to lose. But I see the sun through smoky rain. Can't help feeling we could breathe life into this again. I can't stop loving you. I can't stop loving you. I can't stop loving you, no way. Now, let's go over and meet tonight's special guest. Marcus Eaton.
Yes.
Good to see you,
nice
my
to see
friend.
You too.
Thank you very much for coming.
Sounded great.
Ah, boy. Thank you, sir. I tell you. All right, Marcus Eaton. First time I saw you play, you were playing solo outdoors at the old Satchels.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
This was a few years ago. A few years ago. I had just moved here.
Yeah.
And I was completely taken in by your guitar playing.
Oh, thanks, man.
So much so that I didn't tune into the lyrics at all. Still, I was of the opinion that you were really good. And then I started listening to your recordings. And then I became of the opinion that you are dramatically better than really good.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
In every phase of the operation. You're a great songwriter, meaning lyrics and original melodies. Guitar playing spectacular. Your production is excellent. Your recording, and I listened to both your albums. You have a number of albums out, great ones.
Yeah.
As If You Had Wings and Story of Now. Yes. I concentrated more on As If You Had Wings because it's your more recent one.
Yes.
And even the great David Crosby has taken to following you and listening to you. Shows he's a man of very good taste. So anyway, I mean, there's so much I want to talk to you about. So, by the way, one of the things I was so taken by on your album is that it says you were rediscovering the guitar on this album. But why don't you give us a sense of how music started for you?
I'm really lucky. You know, my dad's a songwriter.
Yes,
and,
he is.
And he's an amazing songwriter. Yes. He's not just a songwriter.
Yeah.
And he's written songs for, you know, some like the Carpenters and Art Garfunkel, and so I grew up around him and his recording studio, and I was just very fortunate to be around that environment when I was young. And music is something that I've been around my whole life, and I started kind of getting intrigued. I always played the piano, and
really?
we messed around when we were kids on the piano, and my grandma, but both my grandparents were opera singers too, so there's music everywhere. I mean, the whole lineage is musical. And my brother and I messed around on the piano for a while, and then I kind of discovered my dad's guitar, and that was it for me.
What age do you think that was?
Well, I
approximately?
started playing when I was 9, but I discovered it when I was about probably 7 or so. You know, I started opening the case and messing around on it. I remember that. I mean, I really do remember
Interesting.
that. But even now, I mean, I'm completely mesmerized by guitar and vocal. And even when you were playing just then, you know, there's something that just draws me into that. I'm still amazed by it, you know. Sometimes I just look at the guitar and go, God, it's just the coolest instrument, you know. I'm still intrigued with it, you know. So
I can't disagree with you. I completely agree.
So that's where it began, and you know, from there, my dad showed me some stuff, and then I just took off with it. It wasn't something I ever struggled with, really. I have to say, it just came naturally, and here I am today, you know. So.
Well, given how advanced you've become on guitar, how did that progression happen? I mean, obviously, when you're 7 or 9, you're playing, coming around the mountain or something, you're playing chords.
Yeah.
But you kept evolving. It was just a natural growth.
Yeah, the first stuff I learned was actually pretty complex, and it was they were my dad's songs. But for my age, they were really complex, especially. And I learned those, and it was just, there were no boundaries, you know. And my brother was really into soundtracks. I started learning some of those, you know. Last of the Mohicans, I remember when that came out. I was like, I have to learn how to play that, so I learned that. And then there was a guitarist that came through town named Billy McLaughlin. And he was a protege of Michael Hedges.
Oh, yeah.
And he does two-handed tapping.
Yeah.
And once I saw that, I was like, yes, I'm going to do that, you know. And so I learned that style. And then I heard Tim Reynolds, who plays with Dave Matthews, but he's just this amazing, amazing guitarist. And I heard this album, and I was like, I need to be like that, you know. And from then on, I just focused on getting better and better, you know. So that's the short story of it. But there's been key people along the way that I've heard them. I'm like, I have to do that.
Yeah.
You know, I incorporate a lot of flamenco stuff, and I heard Al Di Meola, and I was just like, it's ridiculous, the playing. But I told myself I have to be able to do all that, because I want that in my bag of tricks. You know?
Oh, it's quite a bag.
It is. It's crazy, but it's just, you know, it takes a long time, but it's so fun.
You know, since you just brought up Michael Hedges,
yes.
I had talked to you about just doing like a little sample of something. And you talked about throw us a little,
stuff.
just mess around with this.
Well, this is something, this is a piece of a song here. Little example.
Thank you for doing that. I'd wanted to have you do a little sample, and you happened to mention Michael Hedges. And
Yeah, that stuff is. To be able to, and there's a couple songs I'll incorporate some of that stuff in there. But you know, that's inspired me. That type of stuff, and you know, the acoustic in general is something that it's kind of unexplored territory in a lot of ways, just because of the pickup systems, and now we're able to amplify these acoustics in such a way that people can actually really hear what you're doing. And so I find that really intriguing, because we're kind of around at the right time for that to happen, you know.
Let's stick on the subject of guitar then.
Yes.
With the album As If You Had Wings.
Yeah.
You even talked about singing into the pickup on one tune.
Yes.
All of the sounds that I'm hearing on that.
Yeah.
Even things that sound like flutes,
Yes.
you're creating all this.
Yes. Yeah.
So then tell me, when you're saying you were rediscovering the guitar, what do you mean when you say that?
what I did was, you know, I do all my rhythm parts, and there's chords, and you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say standard, none of it's really standard actually, but the chords are over the top, and then the background would be normally a keyboard, and it really, the thing that people don't really understand is how that adds emotion to the songs. You know, if you have one guitar, it's very powerful, but you add some pads and keyboards behind it, and there's a mood there. You know, so I was looking to make this mood happen, and I wanted to do it with my guitar. And I do it live, and I have these effects pedals, and I have volume swells, and I have delay, and these things that create these pads that are just, I mean, they're spacey, and I don't even know how to describe them. You just have to hear them. You know?
do have to hear
but,
them. But
I did one that sounded just like a B3 organ, you know, and then I sang through the guitar, so the pickup has this element here, and I sang through the guitar and my delay, and we created like this keyboard patch that sounded, it sounds like a keyboard. You know, there's no way to really describe it, but it's my voice through the guitar through a delay.
Yeah.
So it really was, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I got to do it, and it just feels so gratifying, you know, to finally kind of realize that and do it and not rely upon somebody else in such a way like, oh, I got to have a keyboard, you know, guy come in and do this. And, you know, it's very cool to do that and be innovative and creative with it. Even if people don't know what it is, it doesn't matter. It's so unique sounding. You know? So that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, that is so cool. I mean, I'm back to your production now. When you added all those sounds, did you hear them early on in the process, or was it an experimentation and a building in the recording?
Well, some of it, most of it actually with these songs, with a very few exceptions. I've been playing these songs for a while. It took me a long time to put this last album together. And a lot of it was pieces that I would do live, like with those volume swells and with the effects on. But then I was able to do the studio magic and play, you know, two completely separate parts at one time. So I had them in mind, but the way they turned out was better than I could have ever imagined, of course, because then I really got to get in depth with the parts, you know.
You recorded that album in town here?
Yes, I did.
Very cool,
yes.
very cool.
Yeah, and it was mixed in New York, and the guy that mixed it he killed it. He did an amazing job.
The whole thing is, as I said, it's such high-level piece of work.
Thank you.
I'm knocked out. Why don't you give us a full Marcus Eaton song there?
You got it.
Excellent.
So this is an old song. This is one of my older ones, but this is called Fiona, and I thought this would be appropriate.
Okay.
So.
Across the ocean, by the sea, unsurpassed beauty, named Fiona Lee, her flows like water. Eyes are ocean blue. Never dreamt of the day when she'd break my heart in two. Now I dance across the water, 'cause she brightens up my day, and I have nothing left to offer. All my time slips away. Treat you just like a queen, Fiona. Open your eyes, 'cause they've never seen. First time I saw her, she danced across the stage, right into my heart. I said I won't let her get away. Such a rare beauty. When we dance, we are so free. Fell in love with Fiona. She fell in love with me. Now I dance across the water, 'cause she brightens up my day, and I have nothing left to offer. All my time slips away. Oh, treat you just like a queen, Fiona. Open your eyes, 'cause they've never seen. to leave. Oh no, Fiona, I'm down on my knees. I'm in love with you, Fiona. Hey, yeah. Tried to fight it. From the dock she waved goodbye. And as my ship set sail, I felt my soul begin to die. Thought I'd never see her again, till the day she came to me. She said, I love you so much. Sailed across the sea. She said, I've never loved another, and my heart began to rejoice. Then I remembered what I told her. She began to do my voice. I'll treat you just like a queen, Fiona. Open your eyes, 'cause they've never seen.
Geez. All right. First of all, I love the title. It's such a cool
thank
name.
you.
It's
Thank you.
so original. You know, you don't hear a lot of songs called Fiona. Now, generally, when you write a song, do you do music or lyrics first?
Usually what happens with me, and this is not, I mean 99% of the time,
Okay.
I work on the guitar part and I let that inspire where the lyrics should go.
Sure.
And usually what happens now is I'm pretty in tune with the feeling and the emotion behind what I'm playing, and I also have all of these thoughts going on, and I write these things down periodically, even if it's just one fleeting thought, you know,
Sure.
that I have. And usually it locks in with how I'm feeling, and the feeling locks in with how I'm playing. So everything's synchronous. I've done it the other way. I've written the song first, or the melody, or the lyrics separately. And that was pretty interesting, because then when I applied them, it was kind of a juxtaposition, which was actually really cool. But now I find that just writing the song, and I really love locking those, like just rhythmically locking the vocal parts with my guitar parts. And probably on the next piece I play, that's even more locked, and you'll see. But it's really cool to do that, and I love rhythmically locking the stuff together, you know.
You said you might get a line or an idea. So what do you have, a notebook or what? How
Yeah, I have a notebook. I
Okay.
write down the idea, and a lot of times, you know, the idea that I come up with is actually a whole theme for the song, you know.
Okay.
And that's really fun for me.
You know, that's interesting you say the word theme, because I'm going to jump to what I had noticed in both your past two albums. Themes.
Yes.
To me, the themes that you have, so often they really seem to echo like history's great philosophers and spiritual thinkers. I mean, really, your themes are that way.
Yeah.
I'll just take a few phrases from
Okay.
some of your songs.
Okay.
Life in Reverse. We have To Show How Far I Go for the Truth. We also have The Balance of Life is an Art. The Present is the Place to Be. And by the way, the name of your previous album was Story of Now. Now.
Yeah.
What's the difference if we all want the same thing? And And then in Over You, that you bring in the word illusion.
Mm-hmm.
So these are words from the great spiritual
Yeah.
thinkers of the world.
Yeah.
Have you studied those?
It's all, I guess my stuff is mostly intuitive, you know.
Okay.
But I'm into that, you know. I'm into the spiritual thing because it's like, you know, it's like Sting said, you know, spirits in the material world. You know, that thing. But I think that, I think that's part of the purpose of music, I think, is to connect us with that, you know, part of ourselves.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah.
one big part of it.
Yeah.
Music can be used for all sorts of things, you know. I mean, it's joy, it's pain, it's so many different things for different people, but the
Yeah.
emotion behind it is really what drives it, and energy is really important. But the idea is that, you know, my songs, I like to have something to think about, but also the feeling, you know, the feeling and something to think about is rare in music.
Right. Yes.
Usually
yes.
the feeling is there, but then there's nothing to think
Yes,
about, or there's
yes.
something to think about and there's no feeling.
Correct.
So you go from the really simple music like folk or something very simple to jazz. Jazz is, you know, that's thinking man's music, you know.
Right, right.
And this is feeling, so I want to bring the two together.
I think
you
you're
know.
doing it.
Oh, thanks, man.
I think you're
Thank
doing
you.
it.
Thanks.
That's what I discovered. And your vocal, you can sing so well. It probably gives you a freedom in creating these interesting melodies that other singers might not go to.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
no, no. I was just going to say, how do you work on this vocal? That is so
well,
excellent.
I've hurt myself before when I was younger because I didn't know what I was doing. Finally, I found a vocal coach here in town, and she really has helped me. I'm still working on it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm still learning guitar. I mean, I'm
Sure,
still
sure,
learning
sure.
all of this.
Sure.
And I'm still going to continue to learn no matter what, and that's
Yeah.
the fun part.
Yeah.
But the vocal thing has been it's a challenge.
Sure.
Because these songs are like, mostly it's a challenge when you play like a 2-hour show.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I found that you don't get a break.
Right, right,
You don't-
right,
You don't
right,
get to
right,
rest.
right.
So you just start singing, and it's like it's a lot of work. So you have to
Yeah.
learn the proper techniques.
Yeah.
So learning those techniques has helped me develop. I mean, I've really worked on my falsetto, and the falsetto is something on this new album actually, which sounds really funny, but falsetto because, you know, just you would normally associate that with like more of a feminine thing, but it's very important to develop
Sure,
that
sure,
part
sure.
of your range. And I was able to incorporate it a lot on this new album. And
Yeah.
before it just wasn't there. You know, I just didn't have that developed. So I'm still learning, you know, that's the thing.
Understood.
Yes.
If you had to give a piece of advice
Uh-huh.
to beginning songwriters or veteran songwriters, what
Yeah.
might it be?
I'd say just you know, stay true to your thought. You know, a lot of people come in and they try to tell you sort of what to do with your material, and I think it's really important to just be true to yourself and be yourself. Being yourself is the most important thing, and be true to your art, and just keep focusing on that. You know, I've wanted to develop something that's my own, and I haven't tried to. When I was younger, you know, I tried to emulate people because that's the only thing I knew how to do, and I think that's true for most young people. It's like, I want to play Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
you know. Well, you do that for a while, and then that kind of helps you develop and sort of fine tunes who you are, and so I think the writing thing is just stay true to yourself. Don't be trendy. You know, there's so many trends that happen that last that long, and you find yourself in one of those trends, and that's it. You're over. But if you stick true, you know, and stay true to the song and your intuition and your thing, that's what you need to do. That's my advice.
Well, I could have 3 shows with you. I got so many things to ask you, but I think I'm in need of another Marcus Eaton
Okay.
song right now.
I'm going to do one this is brand new.
And by the way, Marcus has a website, marcuseaton.com, and we may have that graphic, or may have already had it up on the screen. But
So this is
really appreciate you coming.
oh, well, thanks for having
It's
me.
a
man.
pleasure.
This is called The Sting. This is a heavy rocker. I thought I'd play something on
Fair
the other
enough.
edge, but
Smile is like nothing I've ever seen before. I see your grin, think about what might have been, so tough to ignore. Once upon a time, you were so sublime, we were both living for. Now you're the song that never stops playing, but when I hear it, I still feel the sting. Yeah, yeah, you were everything to me. Now I'm haunted by your melody. Sweet shimmering crimson of your lips, hold on to every word, hold on to your hands. Take you anywhere, nothing would compare. Baby, it's you that I adore. Once upon a time, you were so sublime.